And again, like you said, it's so critical. We're coming down to the end of the regular season for all of these teams. All these wins are critical as far as teams scraping to get into the playoffs. So
Mhm.
everybody
Mhm.
kind of playing with something on the table. And both these teams sitting pretty close to each other as far as their season stats go. Uh, Pretty similar in terms of record, both to hovering below that 500 mark, but
Yep.
every win they're going to need to be able to get themselves closer to the final destination of the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be able to say anything except reaping your points there, Hud. Both these teams currently bottom of their divisions, really sitting pretty far out of the playoff run, but there are still plenty of matches to turn this season around. And of course, as you were talking about the head-to-head, Aries does have that slight two-win advantage, but that could quickly get turned around this match depending on how it goes, right? A 4-0 for either of these teams would be really big for the momentum going to the back part of the season. But let's look at some of these other stats, right? We got wins and losses. And in terms of goals and saves, it's actually pretty similar across the board too. And individually, it doesn't seem there's too many standout players. Although if one player caught my eye, I gotta be looking at Bald Man Streamer, 45 saves in 35 games, 24 goals as well. They seem to be on both ends of the pitch for Team Aries.
Yeah, all the way forward and all the way back there for Baldman Streamer. And on the other side, a pretty even spread across all four players, which is always something that's really cool to see in RSC, a full four-man rotation. Mimsy Dangerous kind of holding down the fort as that fourth man, but still a lot of spread out, and it's that way for both teams. Honestly, it's a nice even rotation for all four players, and a
Hmm.
Lank there on the Killer Bees leading the way with games played, but it's J-Nop that has been out in front in the goal and save department as well. We got two very similar kind of number ones on both sides here for Aries and for Killer Bees.
Hmm. And you were talking about the Swarm roster. I just noticed, or sorry, the Killer Bees roster representing Swarm. Apologies for that. See their starting roster in the match already. So it's going to be Lank, Mimsy, and Jnob. So we're not going to be seeing Enrico. Mimsy, the 52% shooting average in 13 games, will be starting for the Killer Bees tonight.
Yeah, it is a pretty decent shooting clip there. The games played sample size is not the largest, but
Eh.
over more than like 4 or 5 games, that is just such a massive gap there, 52%.
Hmm.
But we're gonna get heading into this game here, or actually still waiting on players to be able to get here. So
Yeah.
we'll vamp for just a little bit longer as we
I, ho-
wait
I
for
I
teams
hope
to
I
get
didn't
here.
spoil anything by only talking about the Killer Bees roster. I'm not saying Ares isn't in the lobby yet, but
No,
hey,
we were
something's
just at
happened.
that time. We were like, okay, time to move, and then it was okay. And
Mhm.
never mind. Let's talk. We can talk
Hey,
about Aries. We got
yeah,
time
we
to
can go.
now.
Yeah,
You go
I
ahead.
mean, I'm interested to see what roster they're going to bring because the nice thing with RSC and all these four-man rosters is as the season goes on, you can try different combinations, and so what you start the season with, what you came in out of tryouts as your starting three, that can change towards the end, and so I haven't been following the Challenger League close enough to see how the roster's been moved around, but we could very well see Particle start for Aries tonight, as we're seeing Mimsy start for Killer Bees. So, like Hud, if you had to make a prediction, or I mean, in your past experience, what would you think about a team making those mid-season changes?
I was always for it when I was playing in this league, when I was captaining teams, when I was managing franchises in this. I very rarely had like a set three on any of my teams. I didn't really push
Hmm.
forward for the teams that I didn't play on, but the teams that I was on, we always kind of did that solid four-man rotation. And once you got to matches, whoever wins, like if you play well in the scrims, you got to line up in the scrims. Captain picks their first three. And then if you win, you just play that lineup the rest of the way through. But that lineup that starts isn't always the same. So that was always my approach for RC because I definitely took it a little more casually than I think some teams take. That was always my bend on the league just as a whole. But I
Hmm.
definitely I can understand the teams that really are seeking for that competitive edge and really looking to generate the most chemistry out of a top three, and then kind of have a fourth man to fill in if there's like tilt or somebody can't make it, just kind of as that bench sub. I think that both have equal merit. I think that there's not a right or a wrong way. But for both these teams, it's kind of looked like they've done the latter rather than the former.
I mean, I can't speak from the experience as a captain or a manager, but yeah, from player experience, I think it is crucial that you do take the time to, reflect on your roster's performance and make those changes sooner rather than later. Right, middle of the season, you gotta be honest with yourselves and assess how you're doing. And oh my gosh, how we can stop stalling. Aries is in the field, so the players are ready to go. They'll be on the field shortly. And I gotta ask you a question, Todd, the toughest question. What do you think the series score is going to be, and who do you think is going to take it? Or
Well,
will it be a 2-2 split?
I mean, the prudent caster thing to say is that it's going to be a 2-2 split. The
Mhm.
unbiased with no affiliations or biases here would be to say that it's 2-2. And honestly, the stats would kind of agree with that. I don't think by looking at what we've seen for team or for individual stats that there's really been anything that shoves it to one way or another. So I don't think 2-2 is a bad answer in this case at all.
Yeah, and players are loading. I can hear the engines revving. Kickoff is about to be underway. Game one of our four-game match between Aries and Killer Bees. Let's kick it off.
We're underway here. Game number one, and like Sir was saying, a 4-game series, regardless of outcomes of each games. And both these teams with so much to play for here, playoff implications with every game that goes by. So critical touches all around, and Janov looking to get the Killer Bees off to a good start. He's already had 2 balls across the box here on the first trip downfield for the Killer Bees. Doesn't quite go their way. Mimsy Dangerous out in the center of the
Ooh.
field, not quite able to be converted on either, but it's a great starting 30 seconds for the Killer Bees, and Aries still quite haven't found their footing in the offensive zone yet.
Yeah, no, the bees are just swarming around Aries' end right now. Of course, as I say that, Kinsal taken across the other way for not too long. Oh, actually gets the dunk off the backboard, but Particlex, oh, he pulled out of the challenge. I think he really could have had the shot there, but they went for the fake. So Killer Bees getting out of that one unscathed. And now going the other way, J-Nup from the side. Well, we'll try to find a teammate. Oh, that was a quick one, but Kinsal's quicker.
It's a great start for both of these sides, really pushing. Both teams have had a couple looks, but Killer Bees with the slight advantage, still punch for punch. Another opportunity across for
Oh,
Particle, just can't quite be collected by the Aries strikers, and it'll be taken back the other way by Lank, who is denied as well by Aries, right back into the orange side. 3.5 minutes left, just about a third of the way through this game. Number one, still very much anybody's ball game. Big
ooh.
demo by J-Nob. Can't quite be fought through by Mimsy, but Killer Bees have still really been on the front foot just ever so slightly here in game number one.
Yeah, I agree with that assessment. They've got all 3 shots this game, and the Aries have responded with 3 saves. Still chasing their first chance on net, but they've been holding on. Their clears have, for the most part, been solid. That was a little risky as a couple players fly by the ball. But I mean, at this pace, right? They've got to at least get out there and more than once or twice as single man efforts, or else eventually, I think Killer Bees will take this away as a long shot like that. Eventually on defense, you will run out of boost. Your positioning will start to slack, so you got to break through the Killer Bees siege before it can get set in place. Let's go in here by Bald Man Streamer. Actually, a second 50 could be good enough to delay it a little bit. And even going for a bump on the third man, I like that aggressive play. Even when they're off the ball, still looking for cars to hit off the field.
Yeah, this the rotations for both teams have been very solid. So looking for those bumps is a great way to kind of split up those rotations and try to find some extra space. So both teams definitely could do well trying to work some of that into their attacks, because it's still been a defensive showing from both sides. Shotless is the Aries. Not to say they haven't had some good looks downfield, but that
Oh,
there
there we
from
go.
Baldman Streamer will be counted as the first one for the Aries. And 3 minutes gone here in game number one, just getting themselves on the board for the first time, but it's really not felt like they've been not on offense. Like, it's not felt like they've
Hmm.
only generated one shot. They've had a little bit more zone time, a little bit more offensive presence than just one shot would indicate, and they're
Hmm.
still threatening. Here's this one is
Ooh.
finally gonna drop in. Kinsala puts that one in the back of the net, and Aries on their second shot of the game have found themselves the first lead of the series.
Yeah, their second shot of the game. Kinsalb's first is gold for Aries, opening the scoring this match. And, you know, to prove your point there, Hud, they've had the ball flying across the net a couple of times. They've put it in the corner. They just haven't had that second man to follow up. And case in point, what do we see? Kinsalb following up the initial play on his teammate with the bump. But now Killer Bees responding quickly. But, oh, great save by Baldman Streamer before Lang can get the shot. Still good pressure, though, as we're ticking towards the minute mark. J-Nop tries to get through the corner, does get through the
Oh,
corner, and off the crossbar, J-Nop ties it up in style.
J-Nop with the posterizer here just to pass the mid boost. Baldman Streamer doesn't see him coming. Just as soon as that boost orb is being picked up, there is a car replacing it, and that front end of J-Nop's Octane is right there, pinching the ball in the back of the net. A late equalizer for the Killer Bees. There's about 60 seconds left here in game number 1 and back to a level playing field, but the shot totals really heavily in favor of Killer Bees. 7 offensive looks generated. There's another one for Aries that Mimsy Dangerous has to fight away.
Ooh.
And a good look for a moment there for Aries. Can they get back and defend, though? Not a lot of boost on either side here is just scurrying to get back into the zone. Looks like they'll get out and almost find another counterattack there from Kinsala, but it'll be turned away. 35 seconds left. Nobody quite there. Baldman Streamer almost on it, but it'll be saved away and back to the drawing board.
Oh, but not for long. Oh, quick shot. Now some bump plays. This is chaos in front of the net. Baldwin Streamer, this shot will find its way in. Aries takes their lead back.
That is a big from Aries. The last second heroics here. All 3 players getting in to the action. And a great goal. Couldn't be scored at a better moment.
Taking their lead back with just 22 seconds left. Now they just need to play defense, hold on. But first, you got to deal with this kickoff play out of Lang, going for the ground bounce. Baldman Streamer there to clear it out, but a bit too hard. Oh no, Mimsy Dangerous flying by that one. So at least the J-Nop, who's centering some Particlet, goes for the shot. Lang able to get a touch on that. 5 seconds left to go in game 1, and the Killer Bees are just getting swatted off the field. We're at 0 seconds down. Baldman Streamer will ground, and Team Aries will hold on and take game 1.
Hard fought from Team Aries. Killer Bees made it very close. And I mean, all the way down to the very end. Aries, looking at the final score line here, does not look like there was a team that didn't score at all, or like didn't shoot at all. Like the 3 shots or the 7 shots for Aries does not look like a team that didn't register a shot until a 3rd minute of gameplay. So they really turned it on there at the very end, pulled it together, scored goals when they needed them, and eventually turned that into a little bit more consistency. The Killer Bees, they were close, but those save totals for the Aries were the differentiator there.
Yeah, and I'd attribute that to the physical play from Team Aries. The Killer Bees did have players in net, but they were getting bumped, they were getting dealt, they were getting cleared out of net. So Aries' second and third man were doing a better job of being aggressive with the play, and also the first man, after making the initial play on the ball, started looking for cars off the ball, which is what you love to see. You always want to see what players are doing when they're not in direct control of the ball, right? Are they collecting boost? Are they stealing boost? Are they going for bumps and demos? So right now, I gotta say, I think Aries is winning the macro. But of course, this isn't a best of 3, not a best of 5. It's a 4-game match, HUD. So we're either way, we're going the distance. And I do think with how close game 1 is, this still could go either way.
Yeah, absolutely. There's really not a lot of gap between these 2 teams as of right now. And as we are waiting for these teams to finish their way back in the lobby, looks like they're getting ready to hit the pitch. We're going to get a poll up real quick so we can see what you guys think, who's going to take this game number 2. But 5 minutes on the clock. Cercero, please take it away.
Yes, and first thing we should comment on is there is a substitution out of Team Aries, and oh, a little bit of a miss, but a save in front of the net. Lisa Chan will be subbing in for Particollect, who started game 1. So the Aries roster may be cycling through their whole rotation tonight. We'll have to see, of course. Still too early to tell, as this is only game 2. But once again, Killer Bees leading the pressure off a kickoff. Keeping it in their corner, though. Aries is doing a good job of keeping it safe for now, but eventually they will start to run out of boost if Killer Bees start to look to steal it. Still in this corner, though. Real awkward. Lisa Chan going to win another 50. Lake winning theirs, though. HUD, we've been to this corner for 30 seconds, and the ball is not going anywhere.
Just really kind of setting up shop here. They've kind of put down stakes. Killer Bees still looking to find one more. Can't get it there. Mimsy Dangerous will keep it close. Baldman Streamer's got to play it off their own post. Blank coming all the way through to find the shot, but it's turned away again by the defensive Aries. It's been so close. The firepower coming out for Killer Bees early on here in game number 2. They want to make it up early. They want to get up early here, but almost able to be tapped in. They've just not quite able to break down that last touch that they need to find. A centering ball from Blank to J-Nop will be pushed aside, and Killer Bees have to rotate back again, looking for that one touch. The double commit really not what they could use there, and that's going to be how Aries will finally be able to break that pressure down.
Yeah, for the first time in a minute, we're on the orange side of the field. It's been so long since we were here, and we're going right back the other way as Mimsy into the corner. Can't beat Lisa Chan, though. We'll have to see how they've warmed up. You know, are they going to be on top of their form? We'll take them a little bit to get warmed up. J-Nop, we're off the sidewall, might actually own goal here, and the first goal is a tragedy for the Killer Bees.
Not like this. If you're the Killer Bees, J-Nop trying so hard to shut down that midfield line, and unfortunately just doesn't quite get behind the ball enough. Nobody is back in time anticipating that ball to be postered to the right-hand side of the orange net, but it is a go-ahead goal, and it's a quick second for the Aries off the ensuing kickoff for their opener. They're going to find themselves an insurance goal. It's a much different look than we saw in game number 1, and the Aries are shooting 150% right now. I guess 200%.
Yeah, I was actually going to comment on that. Last game they had 50%. This game they had them infinite until just a few seconds ago. As now they've got a 2-goal lead, the biggest we've seen so far. And right there, we saw the danger of a close follow-up as second man on kickoff. If you're going too hard towards the ball and it's 50s over your head, you're not going to get back in time. And so Killer Bees get punished for their aggression, as they might get here. Baldman Streamer off the backboard, though, can find the back of the net. And so Killer Bees will get a chance to attack. J-Nop in that familiar corner we've seen so much this game loses the 50, and Mimsy loses their follow-up as well. Baldman Streamer has been a rock-solid defender for Team Aries tonight.
He's really been in all the right places, looking to be on the right place there on the other side of the pitch. Can't quite find the last touch to put the ball over the orange goal line, but Aries are continuing to do a fantastic job protecting this 2-goal lead. They're still putting pressure on as another shot is found by Baldman Streamer, turned aside by Blank. Lisa Chan a drive denied by Mimsy Dangerous. Aries are really starting to turn up the heat here in game number 2. It has been all theirs through this second frame, and it's really kind of caught the Killer Bees off guard a little bit.
Yeah, first minute Aries sleep. After that, they've just been woke. And Lisa Chan going for it back. Oh, I had faith in the backboard Doa touch, but unfortunately they ran out of boost. But that's okay. Ballman keeps the play going. Almost gets a demo too on J-Nop. And now a doink in front of the Killer Bees net. Blank up to J-Nop. Just a pop shot towards net. Baldman Streamer there to collect it. Putting off the sidewall back into Lank. No, Lisa Chan able to get the beat in time. And so Aries again keeping the attack going. But once again, HUD, they've got the 2-goal lead. They've done enough. And if they can just hold on and keep the pressure in the Bees' end, then they're going to look to take game 2.
Gotta be pretty nice to not feel like you need to just be completely on it all the way through. They kind of can sit back, turtle up a little bit, and try to absorb more of this pressure coming from Killer Bees. And they've done a great job of it so far here through game number 2. Really have been pretty comfortable in this 2-goal lead, as we see again a very passive line from all 3 players. They're confident in their ability to get out, win the races to those reads off the backboard, and just able to rest for a little bit here in game number 2, not have to really worry too much. But Kin Salop is going to open things up for a moment with a great backside demo. Not quite able to get through, but it's still time and space afforded here to the Aries, as Killer Bees really just still kind of shell-shocked. They've been a little rocked by this offensive push. And Mimsy Dangerous almost turns that a little bit of a mistouch in the box into an offensive opportunity. But even then, when the ball is put out onto a platter for them, the Killer Bees still really struggling to convert.
100%, HUD. They haven't registered a shot in the last 3.5 minutes, almost 4 now. Might get one last look here. No, Lank loses it to Baldman Streamer, and Kin Salop putting off the sidewall. And ball stays in the corner. Shot from Kinsale. Can J-Nop get there in time? And actually see the fake out of Lisa Chan. Shaving precious seconds off the clock. Ballman Streamer with one last shot. High ball, but it is done. Aries will take game 2 and move up 2-0 in the series.
Lisa Chan coming off the bench almost found that goal at the very end. Baldwin Streamer just kind of popped it away from their grasp, but 2-0 win for Aries, 2-0 lead in the series. Think they're feeling pretty good here over a very comparable Killer Bees team. I think that this is a very evenly matched matchup. There's really not a team
Mm-hmm.
that should win this one. You know, sometimes you go into matchups with, you look at records and you think to yourself, this team should beat that other team. I don't think that's the case for this matchup at all. And Aries just showing that they are just kind of that little edge better than Killer Bees,
Mm-hmm.
especially here in game number 2. But I think the Killer Bees have got what it takes to be able to pull this one back. They're just gonna kind of have to find that aggression they had in game number 1 because it wasn't there
Yep.
in game number 2.
And I mean, again, I have to agree with you, Hud. You have to look at the both goals the Aries scored. The first one was an own goal from the midfield line, and the
Yeah, really
second
kind of
one
took the
was
wind out of their
the
sails.
it did, yeah, it took the wind out of the Killer Bee sails, but Aries didn't directly contribute to any of the goals apart from that kickoff play. And I really got to chalk that up to the Killer Bees second man being too aggressive with their cheat. So if the Killer Bees can, tame their kickoffs a little bit, and as you said, bring out that aggression we were seeing. I want to see some more physical plays. You need to have your second man cheating up, things like that. Then they can start to take some games back and take some leads back because so far they haven't had a lead this whole series, right? It's either been even or Aries in the lead. So first things first, I want to see them turn it up on the attack. Once you're off the ball, look for other cars on the field, and maybe that's how you can start to find some advantages.
Yeah, I'm just in hope, pray to the Rocket League gods that the bounces go your way a little bit here in this
Mm-hmm.
third game, because very much against them in the last one. And another 5 minutes on the clock, another opportunity here for the Killer Bees trying to get themselves back in. They're already starting on the front foot for a moment, but it's going to be Kinsalip who takes it from the backboard all the way into the orange end. 9 seconds in, disaster for the Killer Bees, and Aries are on top.
Wow, perfect first touch by Kinsale. Perfect landing, setting them up for a perfect shot. That was just end-to-end perfection out of Kinsale. And that was what I'm talking about. I was kind of ripping into Aries saying they weren't directly contributing to the plays, but that is the kind of solo play you expect to see. And now a passing play, even J-Nop almost overturns it, but they are able to get there for the save. And off a kickoff, the play has gone in their favor for now. Losing the 50, though, who will follow up. It's Lank who drops their 50 down to Kinsale. We've seen one solo play, but not for the next few seconds because they're busy respawning HUD.
Yeah, it's tough when you get taken off the pitch just at the moment you're about to jump to try to get into something. Get somebody right down your tailpipe to take you off the field for a moment. It is not quite the best feeling, but Aries have been feeling pretty good through this game number 3. I think they've looked pretty strong, and again, the early kickoff goal, it is very much a feast or famine as far as the Aries attack is gone, but it is very much working out in their favor through the first half and change of this series, and still
Ooh.
really knocking on the doorstep. They've not gone away even after getting that first goal. Still really starting to push this ball through the corners, trying to find those hard bumps out. They're going to get on the end of this one.
Oh.
Lisa Chan on the forecheck jumps on the end of a missed touch from Mimsy Dangerous. And you've been talking
Mm-hmm.
about the goals that necessarily they haven't had to work for, Cicero, that Aries have kind of been able to take advantage of, but it's just as much coming off of them putting a lot of pressure on Killer Bees. They're forcing
Yep.
these errors and then capitalizing on them more than just kind of blindly taking advantage of them.
And again, 100% HUD. In these instances where you are punching your opponent, even if they make a mistake like that, it's the fact that you're positioning for that mistake, right? You're aggressive. You're challenging in there. You're saying, "I know you're gonna miss this." As I was getting really hyped up for that passing play. But the challenge your opponent like that, ego, even if you don't win the challenge that time, it still sends a message to them that you have zero respect for how they're trying to play the game. And now we're crossing the 3-minute mark. The Killer Bees already down by 2. J-Nop slow playing it. They're looking for a teammate to pass to Leg, but Leg can't connect. Ball rolled across the net. Finally will be collected by Baldman Streamer. A bit of an even 50. One out now by J-Nop on the follow-up. Lisa Chan up, though. pumping it out back to Mimsy Dangerous. This should be a passing play. No, they go for a solo dribble, beating one, but they can't beat two, of course. Now going for their own. Our team Aries on the attack. Not for long, though. Killer Bees' midfield defense is turning up, but they need to start finding attacks.
Yeah, they've really been stuck. They've not quite been able to get any forward momentum in the offensive zone as a third one comes through for Aries. Aries having no problems generating offense this time around. 9 shots for them. And the Killer Bees with just 1 on the board because they've barely had the ball in the attacking third through the first half of this game number 3. They've had 1 shot on frame. And, you know, there was the 1 rip from Mimsy Dangerous off of a kickoff, I think, that just was kind of turned away, or, you know, little kind of soft touches into space that never become shots, never really become offensive opportunities. Another one here from Janop that just can't be found. There's no shot generated, so it's just possession back to Aries, and they have run
Yep.
away with game number 3 on the back of that just stalwart defense.
Yeah, the Killer Bees just need to switch things up, right? At this point, it doesn't matter how much you lose by, you're still losing the game. So be aggressive. Get your second man up there. Start chasing the ball and chasing cars. Just shake the tree and see if anything sticks. Because at this point, Aries is looking to sweep you this series, and they're continuing to ramp up. Oh, bit of a miss in the midfield, though. If they could punish this one, no, Kinsalp controlling it pretty well. Not for long, though. 2 cars from the Killer Bees is enough to beat them in the corner. Now, down to Lank, looking for a passing play to Jane up with a quick shot, bottom left corner. Killer Bees have their first.
That's big there for Janop and the Killer Bees. A critical goal at a critical time, I think. There's still 90 seconds left in this game number 3, and with only 1 game left in the series, it would be massive for the Killer Bees to be able to take these ones, because we're talking about if a team goes 0-4 this late in the series, this close to the bubble, it could end their season effectively. Neither of these teams wanting to be in that. They want as many wins as they can to get themselves closer and closer to that final bracket, and Killer Bees are going to need to find these wins. They've got about a minute 15 left to try to find their first, but Aries are still pressuring here. Janop will get the save. It was a little bit more dicey than it needed to be because of some team bumpage, but
Yep.
60 seconds left. Killer Bees have got to find a way forward.
Yep, Lank finding his way forward for a little bit, though. That was a nice flick. Again, though, no second man, so Aries actually double commit here. This could be a chance if Janop can control it down to Mims. He just rolled through the challenge. A lot of double committing now. It seems like everyone's starting to panic, but Lank cool on defense for now with the dribble. Lisa Chan getting them set up now 1v1 and Ned. They get the beat. Lank brings it within 1.
What a nice little move there from Blank, cutting them down. The demo on Lisa Chan and the ankle breaker on Baldman. Streamer 3-2 now with 38 seconds left. Killer Bees looking the most alive we have seen them tonight. They've really got to find a way to ice this one out. They've got the momentum. With 35 seconds left, they've got to find the dagger to at least force overtime.
Yep, and the clock will continue to run down while Aries pens them in their own end. Another 50 high above the net. No one up, though. They must be out of boost. Kinsalp with the shot. A bouncer will put it in. And Aries takes their 2-goal lead back.
What a rough spot. Mimsy Dangerous. How much boost did Mimsy have? Mimsy had 23, it looked like, in the back of the net. So really not a great spot to get up for a challenge that high, but that means there's nobody in the shooting lane. Not even, a flail of an attempt that maybe could get in the way and deflect a shot. It's a wide open for Kinsalp, and they do not miss. Looking like they're going to find another one, but just barely able to push that one away. And as time ticks the rest of the way down, not enough time for 2 goals now for the Killer Bees, even if they could find one. 4-2 at least win here for the Aries, and there it is. 3-0 lead in the series and a massive result either way, regardless of this 4th game for the Aries.
Yeah, Aries can be very happy with their performance tonight. Still one more game to go, though. Still one more game to go. We'll have to see. They can't get complacent, right? They will be happy with these first 3 wins, but at this point of the season, with their current record, they need this 4th one.
Yeah, they really need to find this last. I mean, both these teams need this win effectively, is what it comes down to, which is exactly what makes for great Rocket League. I think both these teams really need to find a way to take this fourth game. Aries, a 4-0 win here is huge for them, and Killer Bees need to try to stem the bleeding. So both these teams are going to be fighting for that 3-1 or 1-3. I don't know if I can really pick a winner. Like, Aries have been so strong these middle two games, but what we saw from Killer Bees in game number 1 and the way that they just kind of shut Aries down, I think it's still in there somewhere. We just gotta find it.
Hmm. Well, I will say for two of the three games this series, Killer Bees had the opening minute pretty well under lock. And so they can definitely bring it to Aries right out the gate. It's just a couple mistakes in the midfield, or they lose possession because they're rotating too far back. So I want to see them come with the same starting strategy, but the second and third man need to push up. I'm starting to sound like a broken record, HUD, because that's really all they need to do. If their second man starts pushing up and being aggressive, they will start to see the goals flow in their favor.
Yeah, it's really we've kind of been saying the same thing because it's been more and more of the same, especially for those middle two games of this series, and Killer Bees just haven't quite been able to find their way through that that wall that they've run into. It's really just kind of a tough situation they found themselves in, and I don't know, what it's going to take from them necessarily, if it is maybe trying to work in a little bit of that bump play, but they've got to make sure they cover their back line. And my immediate concern with what we've seen from these teams is that any more forward aggression is just going to put them less defended on their goal line. So maybe Mimsy coming out in the skyline is what they need, but 30 seconds off the clock, and Killer Bees are looking better here. Almost one for blank.
Ooh.
Lisa Chan puts it high to the ceiling, and a double commit in the offensive end there will pretty much end that rush for the Killer Bees. Kinsal's been lethal. Baldman Streamer looking for the bump, not quite on the same pages there. Aries still with possession, though. They've been very dangerous in the orange end all night tonight. It's kind of been their home base for most of this series, but
Mhm.
Killer Bees, they've got to find the first goal in this one. I think if they want to have a chance of being able to take this game, they've got to strike first.
Yep, and there's still a little bit of time left on the prediction in chat, guys. Please check it out because so far we haven't seen a goal, and it hasn't favored any team quite yet. Bit of back and forth, seeing some physical play now. J-Nop going hard for the bump play. We'll need to rotate out now. This is a bit awkward for Killer Bees on defense. Lisa Chan gets the touch on the sidewall, and Mimsy forced to make a save and push it left, right into Kinsalop. Going back the other way now. Baldman Stream will fly by that one, and so Killer Bees will get a chance to break out the passing play to Lank. Lank is going to put off the backboard. Is there follow-up? Goes down to J-Knob, and they lose the 50 to Kinsalop. Now Aries on the attack. 3v2 position to pop up in the midfield. Lisa Chan misses their shot. Oh, there's a bunch of cars flying by the ball. No one wants to connect on it. And we remain scoreless as we get closer to the 3-minute mark. That another dangerous pop in front of the net. The Killer Bees are panicking on defense, but they're holding on, HUD.
A little bit of panic from both sides. Just a loose ball, everybody jumping for it, nobody quite knowing where it's going to end up, who will make the first touch. So everybody just kind of flailing around at it, but it has come out to the Killer Bees. An opportunity here, maybe on the miss from the backboard by Lisa Chan, but nobody quite up far enough for the Killer Bees. They're still trying to find a couple touches. Lisa Chan there to take it away. Blank will keep it in the blue end here. Still trying to find a way to break through. J-Nop with a wrap pass. Blank has it pinched away. No shot on frame registered. Trying to get on the body of Baldman Dangerous there to force a little bit of a missed touch, but fought off well. Now counterattack starting to spin up for Aries. They find a couple of shots. There's only one shot for both of these teams. We're past halftime in game number 4. It's looking exactly like game number 1 looked like, just much more kind of knockdown, drag out, not a big blowout from either side, as both these teams really scrap for territory and possession, and neither have found anything. The bump plays are definitely starting to peek through. Nobody's quite connected on one yet, but I would not be surprised to see a goal come from one of those for either of these teams.
And the clock is continuing to tick down. We've passed the 2-minute mark at this point. One goal could be all you need to take this game. And Aries would look to sweep if they can find their first. But Killer Bees with the shot, Sal making the save. Baldman Streamer, though, bringing towards his own net. This is getting a little awkward. Is able to control it well. The 50 through the corner, though. Collected by Lisa Chan. Now up to Salop. Going from almost the ceiling. Ball man there flying across for the save, of course. No one in the midfield except for J-Knob. Let's go off the backboard. Is there a fall from the Killer Bees this time? There's a pass towards the midfield. And oh, there's a demo, but no one's connecting for the Killer Bees. Now Lank going for a solo play. The 50 on the backboard can't get it in either. Killer Bees, they're going across the net, but no one's able to put it in.
Really been tough. The second man positioning's not been bad from the Killer Bees, but just the passing has been a little bit offline. The midfield passes, the second man in rotation has been nearer to the passer, and the passer's been consistently trying to find somebody on the center to the far side of the box. And if the third man were to cheat up and fill that space, it would just be the highest line ever conceived for the Killer Bees, and I don't think that is the move here in game number 4 is they're trying to find their first win. Blank tries to jam that one in, can't quite find it. 30 seconds left on the board. Kinsalop takes it away from Mimsy Dangerous. J-Nop's gonna throw one in from range. Lisa Chan just able to fight that one off, and Blank will have an early turn. Nobody able to go for that one. An awkward rotation for the Killer Bees, so it's gonna be Aries on what might be the last real rush here of regulation. Are we gonna see overtime, or is Aries gonna be able to find one more? A miss from Kinsalop will put it down to the floor. A big 50 from J-Nop. Maybe one more chance for the Killer Bees. Still up, but Blank not tight enough to the play. Extra time at the last game of this series.
And there's no better way to end a series than with overtime, because everyone wants to be the hero. Could it be Salop? No, Jane up there for the save, collecting their savior. And now getting the attack going. This will be a 2-on-1 advantage for the Killer Bees. Jane up off the backboard, look to center for a teammate. Ball in front of the net, and the finish for Blake will put it in. Killer Bees will find the win.
Big finish finally for the Killer Bees. They find a critical win here in dramatic fashion. Game 4 overtime. And finally, it is the passing play being picture perfect there for the Killer Bees that leads to their win in game number 4. If they could have found a couple more of those, I think they'd feel a little bit better, but able to come out of here at least with their heads high, their dignity intact, taking that game number 4 in extras.
Yep, not getting swept, getting a consolidation prize. I think the Killer Bees managed to salvage something out of this series. I will say there's probably a couple games they wish they could have replayed. But, the season keeps going on. 4 more matches remaining for them. But for the Aries, you got to compliment them, right? We were both thinking at the start of the series this could be an even 2-2 draw, but they had that little edge in aggression and demoing, and that played out well for them. And I think they were going to be real happy tonight with a 3-1 win over a close competitor in the standings.
Yeah, definitely a good result for the Aries. Killer Bees, they fought hard. I don't think they have anything to be upset about after this. Obviously, the result not quite what they wanted, but provided I don't exactly know what their I don't know what their playoff picture, what their magic number looks like, or anything like that. So could be a devastating result for all I'm aware of. Like maybe they missed out on their magic number by a